Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Kerbal Space program. In the last episode, we landed on Lathe using the SSTO spaceplane that I carried with me over there on the Arbalest. Landing was successful. We were able to find an island to land on. It took a little bit more fuel than I would have liked, but we managed to reach the island, land successfully without breaking anything, do all the science, take back off again, reach orbit, rendezvous, and dock. And right now, that ship is working on preparing to leave the Joule system and return back to Kerbin. So that's the plan there. Right now, we are looking at the ballista docked with Kerbal on one station. I did manage to bring that over and get it docked. Took some doing. Decided to dock up to this port here. Had to retract those radiators to make room for the engines on the ballista. There we are. All docked up, ready to go. And, I just need to get the lithium transferred. Which I believe these are the lithium tanks. Yes, those are the lithium tanks. And there should be 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Yep. So we just go ahead and transfer everything into those tanks. And that should bring it up to a full load of lithium fuel. But we'll probably keep it docked over here for the time being. It looks like, I think it drained the lander. Yep, drained the lander. Yep, so all of these should probably be ins as well. It might need that lander to go grab some more ore. Alright, but while that's all transferring, one other thing I wanted to talk about is that in between last episode and this episode, I was able to get all the mods updated and tested and working in the latest version of Kerbal Space program and was able to successfully load the save files. So we are now in KSP version 1.10.1, I think. That's what the current version number is. So, we now should be able to take advantage of all the new features and capabilities of the latest version of the game. That's really nice. All right, that's all transferred there. I think one of the things that I noticed is significantly better is the overall performance of the game. We're suffering a lot of performance hit right now, but it's actually not that bad, comparatively speaking. These vessels, the Ballista class, I guess we'll call that, the Ballista class vessels, seem to run very smooth at almost real time in the new version of the game, so that is really nice. And it means that I can add new mods to the game, because most new mods are going to be built for the latest version, so I can add new stuff in, which I have actually gone ahead and done. I've added in the KSP Interstellar set of mods, and we'll see about that. That adds a whole nother ecosystem of parts and ISRU and stuff to the game that we'll probably try to play around with. Moving forward, see if I can get all that stuff to work and see if I like any of it. As we wait for KSP 2, which is primarily what we're doing here. But, you know, still trying to build really awesome vehicles and get a lot of stuff done. But we need more science. And to that end, let's go ahead and head on over. Actually, let's head back to the Space Center. One thing I'll notice here at the Space Center is the new textures. The new version of the game, which look nice. So, here's one improvement there. Alright, so we're going to head on over to the Arbalest and see if we can't get that thing moving where it needs to be. Alright, I don't know what that is, but that's fine. I mean, all the parts are loading in fine, everything's good, so... Yep. And actually, one thing I just realized we can do away with... What I'm going to do is I'm going to orient this normal to our orbit... for just a moment, is we can get rid of this. This is a mass that I don't need anymore. I'm just going to kind of dump it into this orbit. And since things perform a lot better, what that means is that I can design much larger, more complicated ships with less performance loss. So, that's good news. At least for me, anyway. I think one of the things that we're really going to want to start getting going is, you know, full-on resource harvesting from Minmus and the moon, which I'm doing a little bit of that right now, but like full-on resource harvesting and actual construction in space, rather than trying to launch our parts. When we get out there are, you know, some mining bases and some miners, and we harvest the resources we need and then build a basically what is a shipyard, and see if we can get that all going. So I think that moving forward, that is going to be the best option for getting bigger, more complex vehicles. Alright, we're almost oriented. The normal. I mean, this is probably fine. Because all I really need to do is get in here and tell you to undock. Oh, wrong way. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to change Periaps's height there very much. But you know what? That's fine. Good enough. Okay. So, what we're going to need to do is when we swing around to Periapsis, we swing around to Periapsis, do a maneuver, to push us into interplanetary space. Just at a bare minimum of what we need. There we are. There's something blinking here. There's a little bit of graphic issue there, but it's all right. I don't need a docking autopilot there anymore. What I need is a maneuver planner. Now, has this guy picked up any more science in the meantime? A little bit. I'll go ahead and transmit it back, because, you know, every point counts. Actually, what that should do... Kerbal on one station should now have tons of life support. Which it does. Alright, we're almost oriented where we need to be. Alright, once it's oriented, we'll go ahead and execute the node. Oh, are the reactors? Yeah, the reactors are still running. Because they need to be. Because these solar panels don't produce enough electricity at this range. Alright, go ahead and do the node execution. Take 3.5 minutes to run through the maneuver. be pretty finicky about how... There we go. How close that alignment has to be before it auto warps. Alright, there we are. And as you can see, the numbers counting down. Counting down at close to 1 to 1. If you can read that. Alright, so that's good. So I'll go ahead and let that run through, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, just about done. And although we're leaving the Joule system, there is still lots of science left to do here. It's just that this mission just doesn't quite have the, the full profile to be able to do that. Primarily had a single goal, which was, accomplished. Alright, let's make sure that our trajectory is good. Our trajectory is good. Let's go ahead and warp that to the sphere of influence. Well, that's interesting. That's actually quite interesting, isn't it? It's saying we're actually going to loop back around and get a boost off of Tylo. Wow, that's actually a lot of days. One year. Actually, abort the warp. Put me on prograde. I might just give this a little bit more boost, just to make sure we exit the sphere of influence. And that should have generated a lot of science. Transmit it. How much monopropellant do I have? I have a bunch. I'll be kind of careful about how I use it, but, this is fine. Get ready to turn it off. Turn it off! Alright, it doesn't have to be close. Alright, science transferred. Alright, kick on the engines. There we go. Still 36 days. So what I really want to see here is A, where we're going to end up in terms of the orbit. And B, okay, there we go. Where would our maneuver be? Okay, and that doesn't drop us too far off of Joule's orbit. Okay, so that's... okay. So, Joule to Kerbin. Oh, it's saying 5,000 meters per second. All right. Well, we may be able to try to work around that a little bit. Let's see. So let's set Kerbin. No, we need to get Kerbin. Not the unknown objects. There we go. Set as target. And what is the transfer orbit going to look like? 1,800 meters per second in 412 days, 4 hours, and 50 minutes. Okay, that works out. That should be perfectly fine. Transmit the science again. $1,200 data. Let's get that transferred. There we go. Done. Okay, so... what did I hit? I hit something. Okay. Interesting. Oh, were we warping? We must have been warping. Okay. What I want to do is I want to review data. No, not enough room to submit that. Not enough room for that. That'll go. Throw that in. And that's probably good enough for now. Keep everything else. Okay, so let's go ahead and head back to Space Center. We've got 400 some odd days before that is ready to do a maneuver. So that gives me some time to work around some things. A 2500 science. Actually, there's probably a little bit more available. Over here at the Combined Space Station Interplanetary Vehicle. All right, so here we have a whole bunch of science. Go ahead and transmit it. And over here we have a whole bunch of science. Yeah, let's just warp here for a second. Finish this transmit. There we go. Transmit that data. Done. This is only got 28 data left to be converted, and I don't think... apparently... Process in a lab. Okay, well that stuff can apparently get processed. The other thing that I really could use is more RCS fuel. So that's going to have to involve another mining trip as well. So I'm guessing there's no ore here. Nope, no ore there. Here's the nuclear fuel reprocessing. That is definitely something I could potentially do? One of the things we're going to have to do is deactivate the reactors. Transfer waste. The part must be below 450 Kelvin to transfer. Alright, well that's going to need some time to radiate off, which, you know, we've got lots of radiator capacity here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, well, let's head back to the Space Center again. And let's see what we can unlock. Now, this also has a new tree. Well, a slightly updated tree. So, artificial intelligence. Atmospheric particle scoop. Interesting. Radial atmospheric scoop. There's 24 megawatts of power. Cryogenic atmospheric condenser. No, we're not going to be doing things on an atmosphere. This is the much larger converter module. What I was looking for are the cyclotron particle accelerator. That's ALCOR drive. Fusion reactors. Thing is, where were the, like, construction stuff? There's orbital megastructures here. Proton sail mass reduction. Large docking connectors. Extreme fuel storage. No, that's not what we're looking for. Heavy landers. No. Command center dome. Advanced off-world mining. Next module, ISRU converters. New. Advanced particle collector. I don't think so. Specialized science tech. Deployable antimatter collector. We'll probably need that at some point. Magnetic scoop. Buzzard. Ram scoop. Let's see. This is electrical generation. Now there's all kinds of stuff in here. A lot of these tech categories were, like, completely empty. Advanced logistics, colonization, advanced colonization, exotic radiators. Just not seeing where those parts were located. Faster than light. Unless we've already got a lot of those parts. Exotic alloys. I guess I'll have to find them. And I'll need the advanced logistics. Long-term habitation, short-term habitation. No. There should be some parts in here that allow, like, processing and other things like that. Experimental nuclear power. Fusion power. Antimatter power. And see, these guys need what? This. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and grab the experimental electrics. High-tech photovoltaic materials. Scores like in here somewhere. Well, we'll have to go with probably specialized science tech. Advanced mobile processing lab. Sure, we'll grab that. This all is 800. Specialized command modules. Field science. This is like rover wheels and things like that. Alright, well, we'll hold on to this. All right. Well, deployable solar shield. Heat shield for operations close to Kerbal. Okay, so this is like a big shield. For like making a low solar probe. Or station or ship. Interesting. Okay. Ground assembly line. Orbital workshop. Full-fledged zero-G workshop with space for 6 engineers and top-notch equipment for orbital construction. So I may actually have a lot of the parts I need already unlocked. Didn't think I did. Orbital assembly space. Yeah, I just might. Alright, so what we need to do is start working on a, like, full-on, permanent, ground-based mining facility for the moon. And I think one of the first things we're going to want to put there is a big power generator. Big reactor. Alright, so what do I got? Because solar is probably not a good idea because it's going to be at nighttime. So some sort of nuclear reactor I think is the best option. Starlifter nuclear reactor. That's a pretty big piece of equipment there. 8,000 EC per second. Yikes. We have these reactors. And that's 2,000 EC per second. I mean, that would probably be good enough to run most anything we would need. We have these reactors. Outputs electric charge, 2,000 EC per second. Honey Badger nuclear reactor, 3,500 EC per second. What's our mass? 14, almost 15 tons. $17 tons. $9 tons. I think that's our best bet right there. for a reactor. For this particular project, at least initially anyway. We'll probably want a fuel canister for it. A nuclear fuel drum. No, that's not... Doesn't match size, though. Let's see, do we have an adapter? There we go. It kind of fits that design aesthetic. There we are. Now, we'll need some sort of landing apparatus. Adjustable base frame. Wonder. Yeah, that does fit under there. I can do some leg extension. All right. I'll tighten that up a little bit. Now, cargo. That's what I'm not. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for. This is nice. Kerbal attachment system. There we are. Portable container. Well, the first thing we need is there's like a container mount that you use for that. And then I think the portable containers. Can connect there. Inventory. Interesting. For inventory, what we're gonna need is I don't remember how to. There we go. Click and drag. Max destination volume reached. Okay, so that uses up a lot of volume. Alright, that's fine. Winch. No. Pylon, ground base. I'm looking for... There we go. How many of these can I bring? A bunch. We'll take the electric screwdriver and utility wrench. I don't know if I actually need that. How many of these did I put in that other one? Okay. I want to try and bring the same load in each of them. I'll need that. This should be the last one of these. I'll have to figure out how to land this thing. Well, it's like what? 2,000 EC per second on this reactor? Yeah, so we could use some small magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters. There are a lot more parts now. I'm looking for these. Actually, let's try these. All right, lithium fuel tanks. With these magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters, where are they? These guys? Thrust to weight ratio on the moon is 4.37. What's the delta V? 1,200 meters per second in delta V. That is definitely doable. Actually, I think I only actually want 2 of those. Alright, kept the inventory there. Got rid of the inventory there. Alright. Not a problem. There we go. I was going to need some sort of autonomous guidance. It's going to need some sort of control. I think that reaction wheel should be fine. It's going to need some sort of power storage. I think that'll work. Oh, we're also going to need thermal radiators. We need radiators. Require cooling 300 kilowatts, or 3,000 kilowatts of cooling. Okay. You know these graphene radiators. Let's see, heat transferred, max cooling. Rather than not be that or extend that far. No. Folding large. These gotta be, I mean, that's a lot of kilowattage. Core heat transfer. I think it's the heat transfer that I'm really looking for. Yeah, because like these guys. 8,000 kilowatts. 8 megawatts. Okay, so what are we looking at? 600 kilowatts, 1,400 kilowatts. Yeesh. Not anywhere near enough. Requires electric charge. Titanium radiator. These have a lot of max cooling, but they don't transfer a lot of heat. What I need is like 4 of these. Oh, wrong. There we go. Yeah, they still extend out pretty far. What if I did that? Well, they would need to be at a different angle. Once landed, that could work. See, the thing is, we would need to have them extended while it's flying. High temperature fin. Oh, well, I mean, I think it's the best option. This is going to be mining reactor. And let me drop it on the pad and give it a good test. Reason why I don't want things like extending out horizontally is because I want to be wanting to try to land a lot of parts, modules. Why are you like auto extending? I'm trying to land a lot of modules and parts relatively close to each other and don't want these radiators or solar panels or anything like that just kind of sticking out horizontally because they might get in the way and bump things. So if I start that reactor, do we hit 3,000 and hold steady? We hit 3,000 and hold steady. All right, then that's sufficient radiator capacity for that reactor. Good. I think that'll work. Now I just gotta get it to where it needs to be. Wait, what kind of mass are we dealing with? We're dealing with 30 tons. That's actually not terrible. A rocket to lift that shouldn't be too hard. The interesting thing is going to be... stack decoupler. I'm going to want the actual, like, transfer stage to have its own control unit, its own power. That's going to need a battery. And then we're going to need an adapter. That's a 3.75. I think we're going to want to go out to 5 meters. Do I have a 2.5 to 5 meter adapter? I don't need necessarily that. We can do that. And then what I can do is throw on some solar panels. I don't want to fire up the reactor. I don't necessarily want to fire up the reactor. Until I have to. I might even just go ahead and put in a few solar panels on there. Just because. Alright, and for payload, I want to go with a 5 meter. Where's the 5 meter? There's the 5 meter. Alright, that gets us in a fairing. And yep, this should be fairly straightforward. Now, can this have enough delta V to do what I need? It just might. I'll need to use that adapter I've been using a bunch lately. Just gotta figure out where to put it. This? I don't think that's the one. No. First stage engine mount, lower stage engine mount. Let's filter by cross section. I want 5 meter parts. Lower stage? No. It needs to be an upper stage engine mount. Okay. Those nodes can supposedly fit an engine? I think I was using... It needs to be a good vacuum engine. Plasma nozzle? No. Atomic rocket motor? No. Again, I'm looking for cross-section. 1.25 meter. Walrus liquid fuel. That's 315 vac. Now, the magnetoplasma dynamic thruster. These are the ones, I think. 350. 350. 400 kilonewtons. Are these the same? Inner nodes. 1. What is going on? There we go. 5 engines. What are we looking at? Oh, that one needs to be down there. 2,000 meters per second of delta V. Thousand meters per second of delta V. That should work. $5-meter stack decoupler. And then we put on a big old 5-meter tank. With a set of first stage engines. Now how we're looking. I really need to get this stage to orbit without using any of it, if at all possible. So, this is going to get me there. No, not coupling. I need reaction control wheels, because this thing is going to be nigh on impossible to control without them. I might even throw in a couple more onto here. Alright. So I think boosters are in order. On coupling. We'll go with a pair. Go with a pair of solid boosters, and we'll see how that does. Might not be enough. 4 boosters. Four boosters will have thrust to weight. That might do it. That might just do it. An appropriate nose cone on there. Alright, so we launch those. And these. And separate that, and then fire those guys. And then that'll separate. Okay. Alright, I think the last thing we'll do today is we'll go ahead and launch this thing into orbit. And then from there, I've got to decide where it's actually going to go. So I got to do some investigating off screen about where I actually want to put our initial mining base down for a lot of the specific resources we're going to need to begin processing, to hopefully eventually begin building ships in space. Limit Q, engage autopilot. Let's give her a whirl. Just the weight could use a little work. Probably gone with 6 or 8 boosters. But we're moving. We're moving pretty good. I don't know what that is. Why this little box is showing up there. Those are some beastly engines. And if I have to use the upper stage a little bit, it's fine. But not too much. I need to keep at least around 1,500 meters per second of delta V in there for transfer and then any maneuvers that need to be done. But we'll see. We haven't had to reduce throttle at all to maintain Q. And yeah, looks like this guy is going to get us where it needs to be. Oh, did I choose clamshell deploy? I don't think I did. That's all right. But definitely make sure that the bits of the fairing get out of there in a hurry. Looks like we are going to make it to orbit on just that engine. With 36 meters per second to spare. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that lower stage. To see what I can do about that. Actually, let's try this. If I flip this around... retrograde. That will re-enter. Just barely. Alright, flip us back around prograde. Let's retract those radiators. We don't need them. They're actually costing us energy right now. I don't know why all of a sudden we've got no frame rate here. Why are you re-extending? There's something goofy going on here. No, they're all re-extending. What are you doing? Retract the radiators, please. Oh, you know what that is? We have the trajectories mod enabled. That's what that is. Alright. Give me a little bit of juice here. Alright, flip us around retrograde. Point us at the sun. Oh, it's automated. Turn the automation off, please. Thank you. Okay, now we are recharging. All right. So there we go. That'll eventually re-enter and crash. And then this should get us where we need to be. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. Let's do it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.